Hello everyone, this is Andy from the Pixel Pub, and I'm here to talk about the Switch games we got for Christmas. Buckle up, because it's a lot. Okay, we got Switch games from all the different members of the family. We got Switch games to each other. It was just a switched out Christmas this year, so we got a lot of Switch games to talk about. Let's start with the first one. Is one I received. That is the Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams, the Ultimate Edition. Now, for those of y'all who do not know this game, this is a game that was released on XBLA and I believe PSN on the Xbox 360 and PS3 era. It is a continuation of the Giana Sisters, which was to my knowledge, was a Commodore 64 game that came out in Europe that was just a blatant Mario ripoff. I think so much so that Nintendo stepped in. I don't know that whole story, but somehow a company got the name of Giana Sisters and they put out this game on XBLA and stuff like that. And I guess THQ Nordic got a hold of the property and put it out a physical version on the Switch. This game is a platformer, just like Mario would be, but they made their own thing this time. It's got the two sisters. One of them's kind of a little punk rock heavy metal girl, and the other one's blonde. The opposite, I guess, of a little punk rock girl. And you can play them both at the same time, but the difference is you switch between the two, and the cool little effect that they have is that the whole level changes when you switch between the two. So if you're playing as the blonde girl, that you're in the level with all the death and demons and stuff like that, and if you're the little punk girl, you're in the level with rainbows and mushrooms and blue skies and stuff like that. And the music changes; it's the same melodies, but one of them's like a crazy, riffing guitar. The other one's, fun little synths. But it's an interesting game for its time. I don't know how they pulled it off on the 360 with not an SSD, loading up whole new assets like that at a push of a button. But it was pretty cool for the time, I thought. I never got a chance to play it. I just watched videos, and this was like $25 on Amazon, so I just threw it up on my wish list to see if anybody would get it for me. And my mom did, and I played a little bit of it on Christmas Eve when we got it, and it's still a pretty cool little thing. Very simple little platformer, but with a nice little twist of the whole level changing and stuff like that. Okay, next up is a big one. It's the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is a game that I was going to get when it first came out, but the initial reaction to it was kind of tepid. I think people just had to, get into the groove of it, and I think overall people ended up liking it, but after it came out, I'd already moved on. I was like, well, I'll wait and see if I get it for Christmas, and I did. And if I didn't get it for Christmas, I was just going to buy it anyway. But yes, I've played a little bit of it so far, and it's really, really cool. We play as Zelda in this one. Kathy didn't know that. She's sitting right over here. She did not know that until I told her a few days ago, even though Zelda's very on the cover and Link's very just a fade in the background. But yeah, this is the game where you collect the different echoes of different items and enemies in the game, in the world, and you can use them to solve puzzles or do fights for you and stuff like that. I've gone through 2 dungeons now. I'm on my way to the 3rd one, and I'm having a good time with it. There's something exhilarating about solving a puzzle with a bunch of beds. You probably heard the bed hype, early game bed hype about this game, and they're right, it's cool. But I'm ready to unlock some more echoes. I've unlocked some neat ones that I've relied on a lot here so far, but I'm ready to get more. There's a lot in this game, and yeah, I'm a huge Zelda fan, and I can't wait to dig deep more into this, Echoes of Wisdom. Okay, next up is a game that Kathy received, and that is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This game, if you haven't heard of it, it seems to be a side-scrolling action game mixed with a farming simulator. How many things can we stuff a farming simulator into? Let's see. But this one, Kathy played a little bit of, and I watched her. It seems like you play as a little princess, Sakuna, a goddess princess who's kind of a real piece of work. Like, I remember seeing the village people talk to her, and I wouldn't want to play as her. She seemed like a little turd. I don't want anything to do with her, but yeah, I've seen a lot of good things about this game. Heard of it in the past. I don't know where Kathy got in on it. Maybe it's part of her cozy game thing, because like I said, there is farming in this game. I have seen it. I seen it. But yeah, there's something we still need to scratch the surface on a little bit more for Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. Okay, next up is a game that I didn't get for Christmas. It's a game that I bought right before Christmas because I had seen a physical version up in Canada, and I felt weird not getting it, and I should have got it. It is the Tales of Symphonia remaster. Tales of Symphonia is my favorite Tales game. Is probably one of my favorite GameCube games. I played the snot of this game. Played through it a bunch of times, and I had heard when this came out that it had some pretty debilitating bugs on the Switch, but I did my research and it seems like a lot of those bugs have gotten fixed. It's playable now, and that's cool. I freaking love Tales of Symphonia. It has a fun little cast of characters, just very earnest, like a lot of little kids going to save the world. That's what they're doing. I know that's like every JRPG of this era, but that's what they did. And it was my first time playing a JRPG that actually had like an action battle system instead of like turn-based, where you do go to a separate screen to do your battle, but you're actually running around, and it's kind of like a little mini fighting game instead of picking from a menu. And it's got a cool. People haven't played this game before. It's got a very cool way it does end game, or at post game, I should say. So throughout the entire game, you're earning these points called grade in every single battle. You can also actually lose grade too if you do bad. You will get minus or plus. And it's very minuscule. Sometimes it's like fractions of a point. Sometimes in boss fights you might get like 1 or 2 points. And that collects throughout the entire game. And then at the end of the game, when you beat it, it presents you with a screen that you can spend your grade on. It's for your New Game Plus. So if you want to like start out, with all your items, you can pay for that. You can start out with, 20,000 experience points, 20,000 money. Like you can just buy all this stuff to make your New Game Plus even easier. And as soon as I saw that, I freaking did it again. And then I did it again on your save screen. They have like little green dots that show how many times you beat the game. And I think I at least done it twice, which I thought that was a freaking super cool idea. I wish more games would do stuff like that, because I would probably dig back in, especially if this game I loved as much as I love Tales of Symphonia, which I'm happy to have physically once again on another Nintendo console. All right, next up is another Cathy game. It is Neo: The World Ends With You. This is a remake of a DS game, The World Ends With You. They put Neo at the front, and Cathy kept on telling me she was playing Neo, and I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about, because I'm like, it's called The World Ends With You. That's what I always knew it as. But this is the stylish little action RPG-ish. Is it action-y? I don't think she's played enough to do any battles. The only thing I know about it takes place in Shibuya, in Japan, and you play as these stylish little kids, and you can equip pins, and it changes what you can do and stuff like that. And what I didn't know until getting some trailers and stuff for the video is that I thought this was just a straight remake of the DS version. The DS version was with sprites and 2D backgrounds and stuff like that. This is full 3D as far as I could tell, which is pretty wild. I had no idea that they went through all the effort to remake this game to that scale. So that's pretty cool. I remember people really liking this at the time. I was kind of indifferent because I was like, I don't want to play with those little freaking zipper kids. Like, no. But yeah, people loved it. So a remake is a good idea. Will Cathy love it? We shall see. All right, next is the game that I got. Someone had recommended it on the channel a while ago, and I just threw it on my Amazon wish list. Didn't really think too much of it, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, so watch me butcher it. It is Reynatis. It is a action RPG, just like Neo: World Ends With You. It takes place in a Tokyo, Shibuya, right here. It says it, fantasy meets reality in Shibuya, Tokyo. Here on the cusp of freedom and order, a darkness that will transform the world is about to descend. And it says that as well in French. Yeah, I did some little bit of research after I got it. I was like, what am I getting into by playing this game? And people were kind of middling on it, middling to bad, which is unfortunate. But I want to give it a try. I'm gonna give it my seal of approval if it needs it, if it deserves it. I do like the look of it. I like to look at the characters and stuff on the back there, and the cover art is really striking. You can tell it's still in the straight rep. Been playing a lot of games. I've been beating a lot of games too, but this is gonna be on the back burner for a while. I can't wait to get into Reynatis. I think I got that right. Okay, next up is a game that I did play a little bit, and I'm gonna plan on playing a whole lot more. And it's Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. I love these games to death. Specifically, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is my favorite Dreamcast game. I played the absolute snot out of it. I did go to the arcade and play stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom and, Children of the Atom, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, all that stuff as it was coming out in the arcades as time went on. But the only home version I ever owned was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Dreamcast, and just what a great time. The fact that they were able to get all the licensing together with Disney and Capcom to get this out and get a physical version for people to keep on the shelf for forever. Seems like a pretty monumental task, especially considering how big Marvel is these days. It wasn't the case when these games came out, and they were a little company, just had a lot of big brands that they didn't know could be as big as they were, or could be. But yeah, just what a fun time all these games are. You got X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Those are way out of order on this box, but that's the way they were presented. And the Punisher, which the Punisher, if you don't know, is a beat 'em up starting the Punisher. And you also get to play as, what's his butt? Nick Fury. He's running around beating people up and shooting them with guns, because that's what the Punisher does. He shoots. But yeah, some of the best fighting games of all time, some of my absolute favorites are on this little Switch cartridge, and I am happy to have it. All right, the next games are all Kathy. It's all what she wanted. So don't blame me if they're bad. Okay, so we got Ooblets. Am I pronouncing that right? Ooblets. It is the European version. Is that because the American version is expensive? She don't know. She don't look at stuff when she looks up on Amazon. She just like, there it is. She didn't let it see that little Peggy down there. Peggy 18. Actually, this is Peggy 3. So Ooblets, I didn't know too much about it. I think I heard the name, but after looking at the trailer, it seems to be a farming sim. Stay with me. But instead of growing plants, you're growing little creatures, and it seems like you challenge other little creatures to dance battles in a fun little, artsy town. I'm going to read the back of it. It says, your life has been a giant toot, but now you can start over in Oob, home to oodles of... let me start again. But now you can start over in Oob, home to oodles of peculiar little creatures. Dance, decorate, farm, explore, collect, dress up, befriend, and craft. Oh, there's also cards, shopkeeping, clubhouses, potions, and pant-sa-bears. There's a lot. It literally says that. It says there's a lot on the back. I don't know. It's put out by Fangamer. They do good stuff. They wouldn't put their name on a bad game. I don't know. Really good about it. Yep. Kathy just said people talk really good about it. She's played a little bit of it. I don't think she's got to the dance battles yet. She didn't know anything about it when I bought it up. She did one dance battle. It's like a card game. Anyway, that's Ooblets. All right, stop me if you heard this. Next game is a farming sim. It is Pretty Princess Magical Garden Island. Am I getting that right? Yes. This game, I think Kathy said after she got it, was shit. People don't like it. This is what I understand. The trailers on YouTube, I couldn't find one, I don't think, longer than 32 seconds. So maybe they didn't want to show the entire game, or a bunch of the game, because they didn't want to show you how bad it was. I don't know. All I know is that it looks like Animal Crossing. Specifically because it takes that Animal Crossing cylindrical world that you run on. Like you're basically running on a big cylinder, and like the things come up over the horizon, and it looks pretty cool. I always like that style. I wish more games would do stuff like that, because it's a fun little idea. Why not use it more? Unless Nintendo has a patent on it. But they can't, because it's not a Nintendo game. But yeah, this Pretty Princess Magic Garden Island, it's probably shovelware, but I don't think Kathy knew that at the time when she put it on her Amazon wishlist. Reynatis is the game that I picked up for Kathy. She didn't want it. I just thought I should get it for her, see if she likes it, because I don't know how, plentiful it will be in the future if it, turns out to be something that we would enjoy. And it has a long name. It is Emio, the Smiling Man, the Famicom Detective Club. Yes, I think I got all those words right. The Famicom Detective Club is a very old adventure game series that came out on the Famicom. Did not come out over here. I think this is the first one released in English, which is pretty amazing. Seems to have a man who is killing people and putting little bags over their heads with smiling faces. So that's interesting. But it is an adventure game through and through. You're going to be reading a lot of text, making some decisions, just staring at big anime characters who are staring you back as the text rolls across the screen. That's what these types of games are. By what I've heard, it stays true to that formula. I thought Kathy would enjoy it, and she has played a little bit of it, but it's not on her to-do list yet. She's still playing Balatro. Okay, next is a game I picked up for Kathy that wasn't on her Amazon wishlist, I don't believe. Well, I didn't get it off there. She said it was. I just heard her, she kept talking about it and talking about it, and I was like, where's this coming from? But anyway, it's Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is one of the Pokemon games on the Switch that we don't own. We only own a handful. But this is the weird one. This is the one that takes place in like feudal Japan, and where you don't do turn-based battles, or at least as far as I can tell, and it's like kind of open worldish, and you can actually like, you know, throw Pokeballs instead of just, you know, running into Pokemon on the map. I think, you know, I don't have my finger on the pulse of the Pokemon community, but I think this game was pretty well liked for the time. I hear some clamorings for a sequel, or maybe just the main Pokemon series to take a lot from this game, because they seem to have some fun ideas. But yes, I don't know. Pokemon, I respect it, and I open up my packs on TCG Pocket every day, but I don't actually play the game. I just look at the cards and put them away. The game's maybe not for me so much, but like I said, this is a gift for Kathy, so it's for her to decide. All right, next up is a game that Kathy wanted, and God help me, I don't know why, because it's a hard-ass game. It is Hollow Knight on the Switch. You can see this is also the European version. Like I said, she'll just add stuff willy-nilly without actually looking at it. Am I right? Yes. She's nodding. She's like, I didn't. I just saw it. Which is understandable, because I bet for both of the this and Ooblets, they probably, when she added it to her Amazon wishlist, they probably didn't have the American version ready to go anyway, because, I don't know, I think Hollow Knight is kind of hard to find now. I remember getting it for my nephew last year for Christmas, the year before, and it was like the last one at Best Buy, and it like came with all the DLC and stuff, and since then I haven't seen it at all anywhere, which is fine for me, because I played a little bit on Steam. I'm like, I don't know. I love Metroidvanias, but this one has some ideas about it. I really don't like the way they do the map system. It's kind of like, make me do that? Oh, thank you. But like I said, this is for Kathy. But she has surprised me with action games in the past. She really fell in love with Dead Cells. Maybe this is her Dead Cells of 2025. We'll just see. Hollow Knight. People love it, and they're waiting on that sequel. Who knows when it will come out. Silk Song, that's what it's called. All right, next up is a game that I bought Kathy. I had to get it off eBay, because it is a game that it's one of the rare boys on the Switch. It's not that expensive, but it was above MSRP for Switch games. It is Atelier Ryza 2, Lost Legends, and the Secret Fairy. This is something that she wanted after playing the first Ryza game. She did the typical Kathy thing, where she gets to a final boss and just stops playing. Like, I'm done. But she said she really enjoyed the game and wanted to play the sequel. There's another one, Ryza 3, and I was like, well, this is my only option to get this game, is to go on eBay and, you know, pay a, you know, inflated price, little bit inflated price. I think it was like $70. It wasn't crazy, but yeah, they did find this website. I think it's a Canadian website that does reprints of games, and they were doing the Atelier games as well. And they did Ryza 2 and 3, and she was like, look, I don't get Ryza 2. I'm like, don't you dare, because I already bought it. I was like, Christmas is coming up, don't do anything. And she didn't, so I got it for Christmas. I'm sure Ryza 3 will be on one of these videos in the future, just to complete out the trilogy. For those of y'all who do not know what the Ryza series is, or the Atelier series, they're like JRPGs with a heavy focus on crafting, making potions and stuff like that. Some would say too much crafting. At times, is what she said. When I got it for her, the first one, a while back, and then I immediately bought it on Steam for myself. So because I didn't want to play it on Switch, I wanted to see it, you know, running at, you know, full graphical glory. I thought there would be action RPGs with like little bits of crafting in between. I didn't know I'd never seen a video of like turn-based battle, but that's what it is, turn-based battles. I was surprised. And at the time, I wasn't wanting to play any turn-based RPGs, which I've freaking played a billion this year, or in 2024. But yeah, that's Atelier Ryza 2.
I heard it was better than the first one.
She heard it was better than the first one. That's what I'm hearing. All right, last game is actually the first game I bought Kathy, and it's another game she was talking about, and I was like, I don't know. It is Death's Door. Now, this is the Special Reserve Edition. I after she said something about it, I was looking it up and I didn't see it on Amazon, but I looked it up on eBay, and this special reserve version, which is like numbered, it's got a number on the back here somewhere. It might be on the actual disc. Yes, 680 out of 5,000. I was like, what? That seems like the type of thing that would go for maybe a little bit of money, a pretty penny maybe. But no, the seller was selling it for like $35 or something like that. So I was like, okay. And I was looking at it on my phone in the living room, and we were talking, and I was trying to, like, you know, do a little bit of research. And I just said, let's screw it. And I came in here to the office and I looked it up on eBay and I can on here so I can get more information in front of my eyes on the big screen. And sure enough, it was $36, and I still didn't believe it until it came in. I was like, maybe there's not a Switch game in there. Maybe it's just a case that you could put your Switch game that you already own in. I was like, that seems kind of dumb, but those things do exist, steelbook stuff like that. But yeah, it's in. And Death's Door, for people who don't know, is like a Zelda-esque game, top-down action RPG mixed with like some Dark Souls elements. You play as a crow in hell, and you're trying to do hell things. I haven't played it. I've watched enough gameplay to see the first boss where it's a big castle and you're fighting a castle. And that looks pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of games where you play as animals. I want to play as a dude or, you know, a person. I don't know about these crows, these cats, these weird games where you play as animals.
Kind of has a Studio Ghibli art style.
She says it's Studio Ghibli art style. I contend that. I don't think that's true at all. But can you see this little bird with a sword? But yeah, Death's Door, special reserve games from Devolver Digital. That is one of the games Kathy got for Christmas. Okay, that's it. Those are the games we got for Christmas. The Switch games specifically. That was a lot. That's like 14 games right there. We're going to have to work our way through in the coming months because more stuff's coming out. It's always coming out. It's always a grind. It's always something to do. So anyway, I've been Andy from the Pixel Pub. Please like and subscribe, all that stuff. Peace out.